First thing first is that you're pretty creative.
I get pretty bored. So for me, normal is boring. But life has never been steady for me.
Everybody has their own understanding of what failure is, no matter how small or how big failure can be.
I have failed 1,000 times. Plus, यहाँ पे nobody is teaching more than your failure.
Yeah.
आपको कोई रेडीमेड सॉल्यूशन बना के नहीं देगा कि अच्छा आप ये करोगे तो आप पास हो जाओगे, ये करोगे फेल करोगे. When I started writing this book, the very first thing that came to my mind was failure. And I wear it like an honor, like a badge. And then I work on it and then conquer it.
Like I recently just saw a video where a pretty prominent person in the AI field said that the way AI is today is like it can probably do 20% of one particular industry. It can probably do 40% of another industry. So what can humans do instead of that?
If you concentrate on these three basic needs, if you feel lost, I would suggest any of the youngsters invest in any of these three. You will make most out of it, no matter what.
On today's episode, we've got someone who wears many hats: tech leader and now a breakthrough author. Meet Nivedita Prakash, whose debut book, Your Movement Begins Now, is already climbing the charts. From the fast-paced world of IT to the inspiring world of storytelling, she's here to share how she turned her movement into a movement. You don't want to miss this one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this one. First of all, I just want to say that it's an absolute privilege and an absolute pleasure to have you here. I got a chance to go through your book. I usually do this. That is when I'm reading books. I don't know for most people out there how much time you'd probably take to read a book. But I kind of take about like 4 to 5 days, depending on, the size of the book. The next thing I know is that in a span of 2 hours or maybe 2.5 hours max, I'm at the pretty much last chapter and I'm like, oh wow, just 2 more pages. And I'll tell you one thing, which is, well, number one is that it never felt like, I went through a book. I didn't feel like that at all. It reminded me of one book I read. It was basically a book about 1,000 memes. That is the kind of frequency with each chapter, if that makes sense, in the sense it's very light. I have a lot of questions about that. We'll get to that. The first thing I'd like to know is getting to know, first of all, a little bit about you and a little bit about your journey.
Thanks a lot, Suching, for having me here. Talking about the book, as you said, that you didn't feel like that you were reading a book, and that was the intent. In my book, I'm trying to have a conversation with the reader. So many a times the focus shifts from myself to the questions that appears in anybody's mind. When I was writing this book, it was not for a particular segment of the age group. When I started writing this book, there was one thing that I wanted to do was to motivate myself, actually. The very first thing that came to my mind was failure. I have failed 1,000 times, and I wear it like an honor, like a badge. Always, whenever I am very open about my failure. Whenever I fail, I just go upfront. I'll tell people that I failed. I don't hide it. And then I work on it and then conquer it. So for me, failing is really, as I mentioned in my book, it's like a launch pad.
Can you just talk a little bit about that? What I'm trying to say is that everybody has their own understanding of what, failure is, no matter how small or how big failure can be. You recognize that, okay, there is a problem, I've failed at something, and most importantly, there is work to be done, and what you learned from it and what did you choose as the solution.
My learning is my observations. So I go to basics. For me, the person who inspired me is a small child. So that child doesn't have any fear of failing. Just gets up, starts walking, fall down, starts walking, fall down, and ultimately they learn it. Yeah. So for them, nobody's teaching them actually. Their intuitions are very strong. They know what they need to pick up, what they can do better. And because of that, anybody, any child, I think, without any guidance, they just start, to walk. So for them, they don't have any concept of failure. Okay, so very similar thing. So whenever I fail, take it like I just step back, I pause, and then I just do an analysis like what happened. Can I do it much better? So each day, maybe I will not succeed today, but eventually I will succeed. So failure for me is just not stopping me. So I learn every day. And because of that, I know one step, and I'm ready. So if you wait, to be ready, and one day you will ready, you will never succeed.
Yeah.
So you need to give it a try. And one of the learning, or one of the stories that my mother, or lessons I would rather say, what my mother says that, go attempt it.
Yeah.
At the most, what will happen? You will fail. But there is 1% chance that you will succeed. So why to lose that 1%? And that is engraved in my mind. I don't want to lose that 1% chance of success.
Yeah. At least you know that you pretty much you attempted, you tried.
Plus, यहाँ पे nobody is teaching more than your failure.
Yeah.
आपको कोई रेडीमेड सोल्यूशन बना के नहीं देगा कि अच्छा आप ये करोगे तो आप पास हो जाओगे, ये करोगे फेल करोगे. जब आप खुद की लर्निंग्स अप्लाई करोगे ना, देन ओनली यू कैन मेक थिंग्स बेटर फॉर योर सेल्फ. ओके, रेडीमेड सोल्यूशन नहीं है. रेडीमेड किसी का सक्सेस जर्नी देखे, यू कैन नॉट डू अ कॉपी एंड पेस्ट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. यू नीड टू हैव योर ओन लर्निंग्स. Coming back to the story of this book. So before that, what happened? I had actually written, this is actually my second book. So before that, I had written a book which was wonderful. And I was just writing the content about the writer. And everything was on an AI app, actually. The script, everything was on an AI app. I didn't like my picture and I wanted to delete it. I deleted, and boom, I lost my story.
Oh my god.
I lost my book.
What did you do then?
I was in shock. I don't know what to do. Because I was on cloud nine, when I wrote that book, I was like, oh, this is a fantastic book and all that. And then in 2 days, my happiness disappeared within seconds, actually. So this is like one of those instances. I have done lots of goof ups. Okay, so when things like this happen, the only thing that I do is I just take a pause. Okay, and then just brush off everything and then say, okay, let's start again. And that's where the first chapter came. I wanted to say the F word.
Yeah.
I wanted to really say the F word, right? Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
So that F word became my failure. So if you see that, that says that F word, nobody wants to talk about. So that's how the books started. The way you said that it was kind of a conversation. So there are things that I've kept in mind. The book is really very small. And it's an easy book for anyone to read. Because nowadays the generation, they are into that Insta 15 minutes reel and all. The distraction is, they cannot concentrate more than 15 seconds, 1 minute to. So the content is kept small on purpose so that before anybody realizes, we are switching to the next chapter. And it kinds of hook you. So if you are reading, so I have used, it's intentional, very much intentional. Use it like how you will see anything on OTT platform where you want to see the next episode, right? So very similar to that, I have kept my book like that so that the viewers are ready to go to the next chapter. At the end, you'll think, "Arey, khatam ho gaya kya?"
Yeah, that oh my god, the number of times that happened.
अरे खत्म हो गया क्या? So it was so small. So yes, so it was done on intention, just keeping the young generation in mind, like how they will view, how they will, So that's about the book.
Yeah, I mean, there was one more thing that I thought of. I was thinking for the first ever time, if ever I was wanting to go through a dictionary, and you had each chapter starting off, do you know what the F word is? And then boom, it just gives you this, what is your interpretation of that? What is the learning? What are the challenges? And then you have like a quick synopsis at the end of each chapter, I think. I'm sure it takes a lot of courage for you to open up about yourself. In the sense, you use your own examples. And I think that's like super important. There's not too many people who have the courage and also the confidence to do that, and which actually kind of builds a bond with each reader, if that makes sense. So how did this funda even come to your head? Like, this is the way I'm gonna style this book or make this book. Like, where did you get the idea from?
If you talk about the kind of movies I would like to see, or any serials, or any of the OTT, so I'm a very humorous. I like comic stuff a lot. Yeah. and with slight punches, you know, so real life stories. So you would have seen this. I've kept it, as you said, it very light. So a lot of humor has been used, intentional humor. I want to give serious stuff, but with little bit of wrapping it around, you know,
Yeah.
and then it's very easy for anyone to digest. So it's like, अच्छा ठीक है यार, चलो होता है. Life is like, you know, when life gives you lemon, make lemonade. So that is the whole concept. So you can make not only lemonade, you can make a cheesecake, you
Yeah.
can lemon cheesecake. So it is up to you, okay? It is up to you what you want to make.
You're just trying to say, like, make the most out of the opportunity that you've been given. And not just make the most, I would say, is that what's the best possible way that you see for yourself, considering that this is the situation you're in, if that makes sense.
So there's one learning that I got from a cousin sister of mine. So she stays in UK, London. During some time, she'll have hay fever and she can't sleep in the night. So what she started doing was, in the night time when she can't sleep, she started painting.
Oh, wow.
And she created amazing paintings, very vibrant painting. And that's the learning that I got from her. So suppose you're in a scenario where you can't do anything. You are helpless, but you can, try to create something which can be phenomenal. So that learning, so when this book I started writing, I was also undergoing some personal stuff where I couldn't sleep. I used to get up 3:30 in the morning. I was depressed. So, writing a book became, it was trying to keep me away from all the situation, what was happening around. I was in a very safe space. I was loving it actually when I started writing chapter by chapter, chapter by chapter. And when I finished it, I felt, oh my God, I have achieved something.
Having that as a story, do you have also like some habits that you like, go resort to when you're like, saying, I just feel like doing that?
Gardening is one of my hobby. I love colors. I love smell. Kind of, so people who are very sensitive, I think they like that. I love cooking, so that's another thing. Nowadays it's so easy. You just see any recipe on YouTube and then you make it. Sometimes it's a failure, sometimes it's a hit. Most of the time it's a hit,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, and I think that's what even my daughter keeps on seeing, like how I do, how I create. Now she is also into baking and cooking, and she makes amazing cookies actually.
First thing first is that you're pretty creative in the sense, and I'm automatically very attracted to the content what somebody makes who happens to be very creative, because it's a unique experience, number one. And the other thing is that you're definitely somebody who likes to create breakthroughs, if that makes sense. Is that you as a person as well?
I get pretty bored. So for me, normal is boring. So if its life is very steady, maybe I'll create some problem on it on, and then yeah, I'll try to make it interesting. Jokes apart, but life has never been steady for me, and I thank God for that. Lovely experiences have happened, ups and downs, and every time I have sailed through.
So let's just come back. I just want to talk a little bit about, who you are. I want to know about what was your upbringing like? Where did you grow up?
My upbringing is from Gaya, Bihar, and I did my schooling in Nazit Academy till 10th. And I did my plus two from Varanasi. It's a Krishnamurti Foundation, Rajghat Basin School. So I did my plus two from there, and then from there I did my graduation again in Varanasi.
What did you like study?
I was BSc Maths
Okay.
and chemistry. As a child, if I remember, I was very tomboyish from childhood. I'll be very happy in my jeans and t-shirts, and I'll hang around with boys. I was not into that girly stuff, and I don't need much in life. The reason I was being I wanted to do all the stuff that a guy can do, and the reason was, and when I look back, I was a second girl child. And there's a story, small story. Maybe it was around 3 years or 4 years old when my father told me, why don't we get your sex change? Yeah. And there was some article where the sex change was possible. And I was so happy. I said, my father wanted me to be a boy. why not? So I said, yes, why not? But then as a child, something, it was kind of ingrained in my mind that I am not okay as a girl. And that was that's how it shaped my life. I tried to be a boy. I think there are some incidents when my mother has told me, I don't remember that I tried to be like a boy. Okay. And then jeans and t-shirt became my comfort, and hanging with boys and anything. I used to feel very macho, when I'll hang around with boys and do all the boy stuff. And my father will proudly present me, to ye to mera beta hai. And then it didn't click. He used to call me beta, beta, beta. It didn't click because I'm my father's son. And then slowly what changed when before my 10th, I would rather say, I was not into romance. I was not a very romantic kind of person. So I used to read a lot of India Today books, a lot of politics stuff. I don't like television, but I used to love reading. So in this India Today articles, no, there will be articles on rape, there will be articles on so many stuff that guys will do. I literally started hating guys, and the romanticism came to me after my plus two, where I consciously told myself that I'm a girl, and then when I started reading Mills and Bones, yeah, so by the time when people graduate to some other book,
Yeah.
that's when I started reading Mills and Bones was in my 12th standard.
Okay.
And from there, there was life-changing events that happened, and then the realization then that I am okay as a girl. That story that I built around myself, saying that that I am not okay as a girl, was my own story that I created.
So it was a
Yeah,
realization.
yeah, yeah. They never meant it. It was just a joke. And that's what people do most of the time, Suchan. They take any event or anything that's said, and they make a story out of it. So I was a creator of my own story, and I still believe that my father said that. The entire meaning was added by me. And when I realized that, and when I comforted myself as a girl, it was a life changing for me.
Yeah.
So that's my childhood story.
So when did you first move from Varanasi to Bangalore? When was that?
It was in 2000.
So by then, I think you were pretty much done with your education, and you'd just come for work, or you came here to further continue your education.
No, I came here for work. I came here to Bangalore. My father was not doing very well that time. What I had was an interview call. It was called as Go Remote that time, and later on it became iPass. And my mother gave me 1,500 rupees, and all the way from Varanasi, I came to Bangalore. During the same time, there was one incident that happened, which was a kind of an eye opener for me. There was another interview, and it was actually on the same day, and it was a startup. They wanted to start some chain of motels. I was interviewed by the person, and within 5 minutes, that the guy who was interviewing me, he decided to take me for the role. But he asked me to come in a Western wear and meet him in Leela Palace.
Okay.
When I said, so initially the conversation was like, yeah, I really like you and all that. And I was thinking, like, he hasn't seen my resume, nothing much he's talked about my work, and he is okay to take me. And then the second proposal that he made was, when I said that already have an offer in hand, he said that you come in a Western wear to Leela Palace, I'll bring in the check, you fill in the amount. And I was like shocked, but I didn't show because I was all alone that time. So I said, yes, sure, why not? And then I came out from there and I called the recruitment company. I blasted them. I don't know what kind of interview was that and what kind of indecent proposal that was made. So many at times when you are very early in your career, I know these kind of things can come to, especially to female employees. I don't know about males, probably they can also become target like that. Then they should be very, very careful. They should know how to come out of these kind of situation. So that's how I landed in Bangalore. So the obvious choice choice was going to go remote that time. Within a week's time, where I started my journey in Bangalore from 1,500, my first salary was 15,000 rupees.
Wow.
And this number 15 plays a very important role in my career. I think every quarter I used to get an increment because they will renew. I joined as a contractor, and from there, Suchin, there was no looking back. So I think it's all, again, I will say that it's a grace of Almighty. I came to Bangalore. Bangalore became my place where I have done everything that I wanted to do as a girl, and especially coming from a North India, a place like Varanasi, where I think I'm the first person who's working in an IT company. And yeah, I'm doing so well.
You seem to be a person who, is the right audience that I have to ask this question to. So you were saying that you came to Bangalore in 2000, if I'm not wrong. When you came to Bangalore, was it important that you picked up the local language, or at least understood what was spoken in the local language, so that you could do simple things like commute, you could do simple things like go and talk to somebody in the shop, or even just ask for help? How was that experience?
You visit a new city, and you need to know one thing. When I hear a lot about, you come from North India or you're from South India, I believe in one thing. Okay, when you're in Rome, behave like Romans. Learn it. Okay, it will be helpful as a plus point. People are there. So few of my initial days, I was in an area where most of the people were Tamilians. So I picked up Tamil first before I picked up Kannada. And I can understand Kannada, and quite intuitive. And those days we didn't had much of Google,
Yeah.
and those translator and all that.
Right.
Yeah, so I was learning Tamil, then I learned Kannada. I had books. The thing is, this city has accepted me very well,
Yeah.
and it's a multicultural city. You need to understand that whether it's any language, if you know to communicate, you can communicate even without words. So that's how it was for me. I learned by, as I said, by failing. So there was one of the longest bus I took in early days. So somebody told me to take a bus for a particular destination, that was 201. That time I didn't know that 201 has ABCD.
Okay.
So, so I instead of 201, I took, I think, 208, and I just took a tour of the entire city. And then somebody, I asked, like, I want to go to this particular place, and then he said that you need to go back to the same place where you started. So that day was my learning.
So that was the day you really became comfortable with Bangalore.
I became comfortable with Bangalore. And I knew also, okay, it's also, so it's not only 201, there are
Yeah.
ABCD, so
Yeah.
you need to be very careful with what you read. And yes, so that was a funny thing that happened to me. And as I said, ki each thing is a learning.
Yeah.
So that was my learning from that event.
Look, don't think for like a single second that I haven't been there in that situation. I've made a fool of myself so many times, and I think it because of that is that's the only goddamn reason that you end up learning 100 times more than the next 100 people probably. But yeah, I think that is something really really powerful that, I mean, you hear a lot about this, and that's why I wanted to ask that question. And I've had a chat about this in terms of what, like, understanding languages and coming to different parts of the country where they speak different languages. If tomorrow we left Bangalore and we went to Delhi, the first thing I'm going to do, even if I don't know, is try and understand what somebody is trying to say in Hindi or whatever language they're talking to me. The reason I want to learn that language is to do the basics. Like if I want to go and just go from A to B, I want to know how to talk to them in their language. It's not to kind of undermine you people and say that, you need to speak our language. None of that nonsense. It's just about trying to, first thing, learn a language. And the second thing is you want to make sure that the other person who's state, district, wherever you're going, feels comfortable that the person who's come from outside their place has made an attempt in trying to understand their culture and language. And I think it's very, very important. And the moment it's reciprocated, I think everybody falls in love with you. There are people who love to learn languages, love to learn cultures, love to learn what is this place famous for? What was it famous for before it became the IT capital and so on? I think that is real richness, if that makes sense. It's not so much about how much you have in your wallet. I think it's more about, can you understand cultures? Can you find comfort in the most uncomfortable place that you've been to? Can you learn from what somebody's trying to say? Like, the best part about, when you go and meet, like you said, multicultural place and talking to three different people who speak three different languages is the experience of having that in less than 10 minutes. you know you can't ask for that. So I think it's very important that we, like you said, we live in a real filled world where everyone has a knee jerk reaction, where understanding context is very important, more important than trying to assume that somebody might be saying something good or bad. But it's just the attempt. People are more interested that, oh wow, she's making an attempt. So without me even saying the words, you already know that I have respect for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just that nowadays you get to know like that. And I just wanted to know, like, was that something that was crucial that you would probably also do?
The only thing that what you prominently said is about how you make the other people comfortable. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will give you one instance. So I had one manager. So he will communicate to you in your local language. He will know when he's talking to a person from North India, he'll switch to Hindi. When he's speaking to someone in, from Bangalore or Karnataka, he'll switch to Kannada. And so he had that. He knew multiple language, and he utilized the best of it. And he knew, oh, this is my strong suit. Yeah. So you make the people comfortable in their language. And that's why you see when the most of the politicians, when they visit anywhere outside their country or outside the state, they address the people in their local language. And that's the way you connect with people. So that's what communication, if you communicate with people in their own language, you communicate fast, you get the empathy, you get the immediate connect.
Yeah, I think that's something that is very rarely spoken about, in the sense, like, there's very few people who'll want to talk about. I mean, there'll be people who'll obviously generalize and sort of say, they'll polarize things, and, they'll say, like, this is what I think of something, or this is what I think. But they don't think about the larger picture, and especially when you meet people who have come with a lot of experience, they'll be like, I always found the easiest way about anything is to pick up that and this. It's not just what I want,
My only request for people who are listening this, try to embrace culture. Okay, definitely you have your own culture where you come from, and if somebody is not able to understand, make them feel comfortable. Okay, somebody is an outsider, just treat them like your guest, and when they are comfortable, then they can also, it's a two-way, it's always a two-way. So that's my request that I want to make.
Yeah, the easiest example is probably if I come over to your house as a guest and I start making rules for you and say that, look, in your house we're going to do according to my rules, then it's not going to make sense. Yeah, so I think that's I hope common sense prevails. And I think that sort of makes life as we know it a little more richer, in that sense that you get to know each one's background and you embrace each one's differences rather than finding it a hard thing to digest.
In my own family, we've been married kind of, it's kind of a multicultural. My elder sister, I come from Bihar, from a business class family, and she's married to a Marwari. On my buddy mom's side, and my, somebody is married to a Britisher, one person is married to a Punjabi, and myself, I'm married to a Telugu person. My brother is married to a Tamilian. So it's kind of already we are in a zone where it's very we can accept other culture people in our family.
Yeah, and especially with the way things are moving along in terms of, modernization, in terms of how, like, for example, like, take this place, Bangalore, or I'm sure it's, if not the same, in fact, even more prominent in places like Mumbai, where you have so much technological advancements happening. And because of that, infrastructure changes, because of that, development changes, at least the rate at which development happens in those places, it changes so fast. I remember, I mean, it was literally part of my childhood, so I can't forget that, which is this change of how Bangalore once was. I think in the 90s, if you came up to me and told me that, you know what, Bangalore's going to be like this, I would have said, nice joke, and don't disturb me again. But I think the next 10 years was like super eye opening. It was such a shock, number one. And I think it's only fair today that you realize that children who grow up with this sort of circumstantial multicultural environment, it's an absolute no brainer if you're gonna, turn out to be an 18 or 20 or a 25-year-old who speaks multiple languages and who's aware of multiple cultures, who's aware of multiple different traditions that happen. You kind of embrace it. And I'll tell you what, the place where I feel we really, really embrace this is when we meet Indians abroad. The moment you recognize another Indian abroad and you talk about these type of things like traditions, different types of festivals, their eyes just light up like, oh my God. Does that make sense for you as well?
Absolutely, it just kind of enriches you, you know. So if you talk about me, a day before I was celebrating Varalakshmi, which is a Telugu festival, and today I'm celebrating Rakhi, which
Yeah.
is a North Indian festival.
Yeah.
So it's all about embracing. As I said, the more you embrace, it becomes beautiful. Each if you treat it like a flower, each has its own color, fragrance. Each one is unique, and each one is beautiful.
Came across an article which said that specifically for the current 18 to 25 or 18 to 26 year olds, the growth of unemployment is going so fast that these poor chaps, I mean, the moment lady or a guy who's just out of college or just done with post grad or whatever it is, we were all there in once upon a time in our lives. We are like, okay, so I finished like 20 something years of education and now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get started with my career. And then you have this big challenge. Now, which school or college or, where do you go to get to learn that, this is how the industry is, whichever industry you choose, that's another thing. But how do you mentally prepare for that type of a situation?
Now, at this point, I think now the world, the way it is going fast, because of AI coming into picture, I think now it's the time that it's introduced within the school itself. They need to make each one prepared for what is coming next. Now, everybody has the information in their hand through the mobile. When we are talking about even the language, if I have a translator in
Yeah.
my phone, I can immediately convert your language and also ask the AI to play the answer for you. So that's the world that we are going into. And I think now is the time when we prepare our generation to focus on what holds for the future. So I also feel, the education system is going to change drastically. I think many of the schools now, they have technology driven. So many schools are coming where they are, they call themselves as a techno school, where it's already being taught. But many of the school, I think they need to embrace that as well.
I agree. I completely agree. I think in not just that, I think it should also be extended. But what I'm trying to say is that like I recently just saw a video where one person, a pretty prominent person in the AI field, said that the way AI is today is like it can probably do 20% of of one particular industry. It can probably do 40% of another industry. So what I'm trying to say is that now when there's 20% and when there's 40% or maybe even more in another industry happening, so what can humans do to make up for or to do instead, because it's already been taken care of by AI and that's great. So what can humans do instead of that? because they've got to, humans have always got to find a way to further optimize their productivity, if that makes sense. Whatever it is that you're doing finds you still to be, that much more enriching to the business, or that much more enriching to the job.
If you feel, okay, things, so many things are changing, okay, I will ask one question. What is one constant thing in spite of all these changes? What you have seen. What are the three basic necessity of any human?
Food,
Yes.
a place to, that is shelter, security. I mean,
Clothes.
yeah, okay, fine, clothes. Yeah.
You know this movie, right? Roti, kapda or makan.
Yeah.
Okay? Let the world change. If you concentrate on these three basic needs, humans will require food, they will require shelter, they will require clothes to wear.
Yeah.
If you feel lost, I would suggest any of the youngsters invest in any of these three.
Yeah.
You will make the most out of it, no matter what. Go back to basics whenever you're lost. If you crack that code, if this conversation will happen after 20 years, probably we'll be wearing another type of clothes. We don't know. We have seen so much in Star Wars or different kind of movies that they have seen futuristic movies. But still, we need food, we need shelter, we need clothes.
Okay, let me just try and speak from the majority of people's perspective. I'll try my best. I don't think I can exactly do that, but I'm just taking a shot here. Yes, there are companies today that are trying to say that you can upskill yourself and learn multiple languages utilizing AI, and that's kind of like the future. The question is that, okay, so we'll probably do that, but what's going to happen after AI completely is able to do the job? I won't use the word replace because I think that's very harsh, but I just want to know what can viewers do who won't don't have that privilege or don't have that opportunity and freedom to do something like that, because making money is absolutely important for them to get those three basic things.
I think, if I'm not wrong, 80% of the people they have mobile nowadays in India. If you treat AI as a tool who's your personal assistant, instead of, you are the owner and you have a personal assistant which is your mobile, can't you do wonders? Instead of using AI as a threat, think it's your PA, it's a personal assistant. Utilize it. You give a command and then it can turn your dream into reality. It has that much of capability. People, you should know how to use a prompt. People should know how to extract the best out of it. The moment you become a master of it, humans will always be the masters, and AI will be your personal assistant. That also, I think, most of the time it's now free, it's not getting charged, and you can benefit out of it.
Okay, so if that is the case, for somebody who wants to do exactly what it is that you just told, what would be your 30-second quick solution for anyone out there who would want to go quickly and learn the AI software like ChatGPT?
Initially, I started using ChatGPT as kind of, can you rephrase this sentence? Okay. And then slowly, what I did was, so I'll give AI or ChatGPT very complex question. So I will ask AI to say that I'm taking 5 people out for dinner. My budget is this much. Okay. Can you suggest a place, this place? Okay. So AI is doing all this calculation while I'm getting ready. And within few seconds, I have the choices that AI has given to me. I take my family with my budget and I have utilized that. Okay. Third thing that I have done is, on the shares as well. Like they can read. Okay, I don't have time to read or how the company is doing and all that. So I use my AI to decide, not decide. The decision maker is me, but to come to those kind of choices. So what has happened is I have taken within a short span of time. Instead of reaching out to 100 people, I've reached out and I've got a solution within 5 minutes. Now each one, if they know that this is the capability that they have, okay, and you can maximize your time. Everybody has 2 hours, right? What I have done is, instead of spending 5 hours, 10 hours, I have got the same result in five minutes. I can utilize my remaining of the minutes in doing much more, many other things, right? Yeah. So I have seen that that's the benefit that I'm getting. So today, the job which I was doing in 4 hours, 5 hours, I'm able to do it in 2 minutes, 1 minute. So you can see how you can maximize, right? So that's why I'm saying it's a wonderful tool. Use it like your PA, personal assistant. Give complex questions,
Yeah.
and you'll be amazed. No, like, coming back to this. So if you think, if I was supposed to write this book much earlier, or maybe last year or before that, I wouldn't be able to do if AI was not there. I created my content. I posted it on our AI tool. I asked it to make it like a short story. Take out the three. What are the three takeaways? When my each chapter talks about three takeaways. Correct. I just posted my story and I asked. So all this framing, all this making that very crisp, all that making it to a level where it will create curiosity to go to the next chapter. So I've used a tool to do that. So I have utilize it in this way. Others can utilize in whichever form they want to. You can ask, like if you are a housewife, okay, you have 5 ingredients, just tell that, okay, I have, this is the ingredient, what is the food that I can cook? It can give you, within seconds, it can give you, okay, this is what you can do. So if you use AI, as I said, it can create miracles.
Okay, that makes sense. I think it's important to make sure you understand that AI is a tool and not something that is competing for,
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that I would like to ask is, what was it that you faced with in terms of difficulty, and how did you find a solution? And most importantly, what did you jot down as the minutes for your success story?
As you correctly said, that it's very important to make yourself uncomfortable. So that realization that you're uncomfortable is, that's your step forward. I was not able to express myself. Like maybe I was a very shy kind of person, and I started to break that barrier by writing my LinkedIn stories. So the very first story I wrote, I think it reached to 2,000 plus people. Okay, and that gave me little courage, and then I became a consistent writer. So one thing was there, like when you have tasted the success in one way, you want to do it again, right? You want to do it again and again and again, kind of thing, and unless you become comfortable. So when I started writing that, I wanted to write a book. That was in my bucket list. I wrote a book. I read it at least 11 times before publishing it. I didn't have that courage to publish it. So how can I publish it? I didn't want it to spend money. So AI helped me to give me that platform. I published my book, and because you want to have a look and feel, and unfortunately it was not the physical form of the book was not available in India. So first I launched it as ebook, and the physical books were available across the market, US, UK, Japan, everywhere, but unfortunately not in India. And I posted it on LinkedIn. Many people from in LinkedIn and Facebook, and many of them, they came to me asking for a physical copy in India. It was just done to, just tick my bucket list. It was just in my bucket list. I wanted to do it. I wanted to make an impact for one person. And also I wanted to give it to me as a birthday gift, right? So all these things were tick mark. And then, so I found a platform where I could do that. And I went ahead. So whatever was the small amount as a platform fee, and I did that. And that was a remarkable, people accepted it very well. I was thinking like people prefer ebook, but I think people wanted the physical book so that they can feel, have a look, feel everything. That is a different experience, I think. So it was received very well. As we are speaking, as of now, I have sold 175 alone in India, and 25. So I've reached 200 across. So it is all ebook and physical book and all that.
What was your learning or takeaway from going through this experience?
So as I said, you have to make yourself uncomfortable. Success doesn't come being comfortable. That's the biggest mantra I will tell you. You have to keep on entering the uncomfortable zone. Okay, if you keep on repeating the things that you like and do, you can never ever learn. And forever be a learner. Forever be a learner. As long as you have this learner's mindset, no, nothing can stop your success.
So I just have a few questions that I'd like you to give me an answer about. A short answer would be fine. The first thing I came to know was that this book is so unique in terms of the way it was written. The style of messaging is similar throughout different chapters. It makes more sense to today's fast paced life. Was that done intentionally?
Yes. So it was done intentionally. So first thing is, which I learned from one of the YouTubers, I don't know who, I don't remember the name. It's not a YouTuber, but a trainer. So a question was asked to that person that how do you capture the audience attention throughout the day? Like he's a trainer and none of the people, it's getting bored when he's giving training. So he says that when I do a particular training, I make my training all about them. So people will be interested when you make the training about them. So they'll be waiting what is there for me. Until unless you have getting that, you are able to capture anybody's attention.
Yeah.
There could be one or two instances where you could feel that, okay, I should end at this particular point. But then, as you said, that once you started the book, you actually finished it.
Yeah.
So that was done as intentional. So if you make things about others rather than myself, right? I think that was the one point. Second thing, which was my learning from various presentation that we do in a corporate world, we always end up with three takeaways so that people don't remember the entire conversation, whatever is happening. So if you summarize at the end of the chapter, like how I did, people will have those takeaways as they'll remember. And third thing which I wanted to create was the curiosity.
Yeah.
What is coming up next? So I've utilized the way OTT makes any of the what you call seasons.
Yeah.
That they create so much of curiosity that people complete seasons after seasons on like one weekend. So those are the three things I have utilized, and each chapter has that.
All right. The next question I have, it's a series of short paragraphs filled with witty humor, powerful meanings, but with light and simple messaging. Can you talk about why you chose this particular method?
It becomes very boring when you try to give gyan to people. It's like giving medicines. So I, being a mother, I know how to give medicine to my children. So I wrap it around some sugar or, have a lollipop handy and all that. So when they are taking the medicine, they don't feel the bitterness of it. So I've used the same technique. So everything, as I said, it's a learning thing. So here also, I wrote my content and I used an AI and I said, okay, make it more humorous. And when I read it and I feel that it's making sense, so I was pretty much okay with it. So that's where humor comes into play. People are not, they don't want serious stuff and all that. But when you say those same way in a comedy or in a punchline, they get it very easily.
Makes the messaging light, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
All right. So the next one. So how important is it for you to reflect on anything small or big that occurs? Does it help you center yourself even in crazy situations?
So I am a mother of crisis management. In any situation, be it an earthquake or anything that disaster has happened, I would rather say the first thing that I do is I take a 2-minute pause and I think, what's next? And that's my strategy always. So I was able to help people when I was there in Bihar and there was a earthquake that has happened. I was actually controlling the entire building. I was guiding them without no knowledge of having a disaster recovery, okay? I was helping people who were crying, thinking what's happening. I was hugging them, but also trying to help others. A similar kind of thing that happened when my father passed away. The first thing that came to my mind was to inform other people, like how to take a control of a situation. So emotion comes after, but the thing is, what are the next step that I need to do? So that's my strategy. That's what I follow. I always, whenever, and things constantly, disasters happen. So as I said, if an egg will break, I will think how can make a cake out of it.
Yeah.
Or what's the next step? Shall I throw it? Or if it's, can I still use it? In a similar fashion, any situation that happens around me, I take a pause. Then I think, okay, what is the next step that I'm going to do with it? That's my approach.
The most important message I got from reading your book is Carpe Diem, seize the day or make use of this moment. How have you utilized the benefit of this?
There was one time in my life, and that's the hint of my coming book, is on my menopause. So various people have various kind of experiences. I was undergoing huge depression. So when I used to get up in the morning, my mind will be blank. But then somewhere deep in my mind, I lost the purpose of living. I didn't want it to live. But then, without medication, what I did was I started living in the moment. And I told myself that you just live for one day. You don't have to you don't have to plan for next coming weeks or something. If you make the best out of today, okay, you can do wonders. And that's the thing that I kept on doing day in and day out, every day. Early in the morning, I'll just say, you have to live only one day. Take a baby step. And from there, and then I could realize that I didn't know that time that this was due to my menopause. And then there were medications that was given by my gynec. And then only I realized, okay, it was a serious problem actually. But then how I combat was just taking that baby step. So each day I used to just live for one day, nothing more.
Wow, I mean, it's there's only so much that one can imagine or try to understand about a person who writes a book. You definitely get a pulse. You get an understanding of, okay, this is what I can sort of like expect if I meet this person in reality. I mean, I definitely got just by reading this book, I definitely got all those different types of qualities that I could expect from meeting you. Thank you so much for being here, making this happen. And I'd be absolutely delighted if we can do this again on another time. Who knows, maybe after your second or third book, we can do that. I'm sure you'll have a lot more that you can share and you can enrich us with. Nivedita, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for all of you who'd be interested in probably also getting a chance to go through Nivedita's book, I've put it down in the description. There's a link. You can click on it and you can purchase the book. And trust me, it is so funny. You'll finish it like really quickly. And most importantly, it is very powerful. So for those of you who'd be interested in purchasing her book, it's down in the description so you can check it out. So that's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more upcoming inspiring stories. By the way, did you know about the mindset of capitalism and how it shapes our everyday choices and keeps you poor? Or the reality of bad parenting today that most parents are getting wrong in today's fast-paced life? Both videos are a must-watch for today's time. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.